So I talked about Michelangelo, who said the angel, the statue of the angel was in this block of marble all the time. All I had to do was to free it. And I said that martial arts and fighting and combat has to adhere to the parameters of physics and anatomy. Exactly. So we humans are really, really good at using physics to our advantage and our anatomy, of course. So you have been doing this all your life, and we're going to start with some practical examples. So stand up, everyone. Okay, now I'm going to, the next few minutes, I want to talk about how you should use a sword. And we're first going to look at some things that we have been doing all our life, using some of the laws of physics and anatomy that are relevant to sword use. So first I want you to just clap your hands. Okay, so you produce this clapping sound, right? At which point did you use any strength?
No. You accelerate your hands.
Yes, you accelerate your hands, yeah? How much effort was that?
Very little.
Okay, let's try the Schwarzenegger version. So we're going to use a lot of effort. So before you clap your hands, I want you to tense up every muscle in your body. Lift your hands, and now clap really hard. Okay. Again, this produced the same sound. It felt awkward, didn't it?
Yes.
It felt totally awkward. And did it feel very autonomic? No. You wasted a lot of energy. You can sit down now. You wasted a lot of energy, which was not required. And this is one of the biggest misconceptions about bladed weapons. People tell you a lot about how much body power you have to put into the cut, and that the sword actually transfers the power from the body. Yes and no. The one moment you have to tense up is only the moment that you hit. There's a very short moment where you tense up. It's like when you lift a dart, like playing darts at the bar. So everybody lift an imaginary dart. Okay. Everybody. Roland says everybody, that includes you too. So, and usually you stand when you do that, put down the beer and then throw the dart. So throw your dart at the target. Okay? And pick up the second dart and throw it. And with the third dart, I want you to tense up. Give it all the muscle power you have from the very beginning. Okay, it probably will not even be a good throw, even though you used a lot more energy. Yeah, it probably went like. I remember when I was a little kid and there was these athletic games, sports lessons, and I thought like, oh, this time I'm going to throw the ball really, really far. So I'm going to give it all and smacked it right in front of the, smacked it on the floor right in front of me. I was totally shocked because I used so much effort, and that's exactly the point. If you use too much effort, it's not going to work. We are good to use physics. If we want to accelerate something, we know how to do it. So, do you remember in the dressing room after sports, when you rolled up the wet towel after coming out of the shower? What did you do then? Exactly, yeah. Using it, cracking it like a whip to produce these really nice red marks on the thighs. Exactly. So if you think about this motion, using the towel like a whip, or actually using a whip, cracking a whip. Yeah? If you do that action, just imagine picking up a whip or one of these wet towels, put this in, and use a lot of power. It will never work. It will actually slow you down. If you use a lot of strength, it's going to slow you down. It's going to be less efficient. The sword, in particular, but also other weapons, they do damage because of acceleration. Acceleration plus precision. Okay? Acceleration, when some kids are playing in the yard and one kicks the ball and oh, it flies to the window, oh, a little shatter, the window, the glass is broken. Okay? Well, shit happens. Now, pick up this leather ball, go to a window, put it against the window, and with all the power from your body, with all your strength, press it through the window. It's not going to happen. Yeah? But you just saw that it's quite possible that humans move a ball, a leather ball, through a glass window. This is because of acceleration. So when you want a bladed weapon to cut efficiently, you have to accelerate it correctly. You don't have to use a lot of effort. And that's the secret of why the sword was so successful all these millennia, because you saw, if you took a look at the images I brought with, that it can inflict really nasty injury, but the key to doing this is effortlessness. Who brought a sword to this class? Oh, a lot of people, very good. So I think we're going to take a look at our swords again, and because all the chairs are in here, we're going to go out. But just wait a second, I'm first going to show you what I want you to try out. Now, this is a blunt replica of a Viking sword. What is most striking if we compare it to this sword, which is a Type 14 from about the 14th century. This is a sharp, this is a blunt, okay. But if we look at the hilts, so let's not look at the blades now, just looking at the hilts, what's the major differences?
There's no handguard. Virtually no handguard on this one.
Yes, very stubby crossguard that does hardly deserve its name. Well, this is a really substantial crossguard on this one. What else?
The handle is shorter.
Is it?
The pommel is smaller.
Just so. A few, well, yeah, maybe 5 millimeters or so, but slightly shorter. Yeah.
The geometry of the pommel.
The pommel.
Yes, exactly. The pommel looks very different. This one has a straight crossbar, and it's also quite wide in comparison to this disc pommel with a chamfered edge. These look very, very different. And in reenactment, whenever a Viking reenactor picks up a medieval reenactment blade, he says like, "Oh, this is good because it doesn't produce that hole in my glove," like with the Viking sword. I remember when I was doing Viking reenactment all these years, I had to put patches on my glove here all the time. So why would they come up with such a stupid design that's so inconvenient? Because
holding it like that.
yes, I guess so. I don't think a culture that was able to build ships to cross the seas when nobody else there doing it would need 300 years to figure out it's actually not so good an idea to have a wide crossbar. Now, these swords are exactly as good as they have to be in their given context. Now, the major misconception regarding swords, just because nobody shows us, nobody teaches us, is that most people, when they see a sword and they grip a sword, they grip it like this, okay, which I call the action figure grip, because it's not even a hammer grip. Because if you fully embrace a hammer like this, folding the thumb over the index, it's not really going to work very well, driving that nail into the wood. So if we think about this as an extension of the arm, because I talked to, where is he? Somebody talking? Yeah, no, somebody else. I was talking to the guy with the Danax who was asking about Danax. Oh yeah, okay. I told you that if you want to do harm to your opponent, you first have to be there. So you have to cross a given distance to get there. Okay? And if you have a sword in comparison to a knife, you will be there earlier because it's longer. Okay? So bridging distance is very important. Now if I hold a sword like this, I'm not really bridging that much distance. Yeah? How would I hold a sword in order to bridge maximum distance? Anybody wants to try?
Yeah.
Show us?
Lower on the pommel.
Like go.
Yeah, like a.
You have to do it because I know how to do it.
Like this.
Yeah?
I think like this. Because it's extraction of
Okay,
the
can you
arm.
stand so that people see your finger? Okay, so here we see that the blade forms a straight extension of the arm. What is really interesting is that he does not bend his wrist, so he's not doing this. However, you can have a few more inches. You do it like this, okay? If he does it like this, so that the index is not over the crossguard, but he actually holds the pommel, and that feels quite convenient, doesn't it? Probably not familiar.
Feels new.
It feels new, but do you feel that you're actually controlling the whole blade by holding the pommel? So if you turn this flat downwards, I mean just turning it like so, you can feel that the weight of the blade is here, safely secured in your hand because you're actually holding the pommel. The pommel is an integral part of the grip. Now in contrast, if you hold the sword like this and extend it so that the pommel pops out on the other side. Extend it. Here, you feel that you have a lot less control if you turn around. So if you neglect the pommel, you also neglect a good opportunity to control the blade. While if you hold the pommel in your hand, you control the complete blade. Also, he covers a lot of distance. Yeah? Now, at which point does he have maximum distance, or at which height, at which level does he have maximum distance? Maximum distance, and remember this, in terms of anatomy, is at shoulder level. As soon as you leave shoulder level, be it going higher, or more importantly, going lower, you lose distance. Yeah. So if he strikes to my leg, cut to my leg. I won't move. Yeah. Okay. Do it again. Okay. So I have taken the leg out of the way, and he cannot hit my leg. I can well hit his head because I'm moving on shoulder level, so I have more reach here. So if somebody strikes for a low target, he loses reach, while if you strike to a high target, you use your maximum reach, range. I'm going to talk about stances and posture later, because that is when I talk about geometry in depth. But this is one of the things that is important for you to understand. Thank you very much, Martin. This is one of the things that is very important for you to understand. You have maximum reach at shoulder level. As soon as you start cutting low, you lose reach. Okay, remember that. This is a principle that I did not make up. It's actually in the medieval fencing treatises where it says, he who strikes low will be punished above. And they call this principle Überlauf. Literally running on top or running above. So this is geometry. This is very interesting because it means in order to be able to cut to the leg, you have to do something to prevent your head from being hit. Now, okay, we have been talking about the cracking the whip. We have been talking about the wet towels. Now we are talking about this kind of pommel and hilt design. If I use this sword as if it was a willow twig, and all I wanted to do is, in a completely relaxed fashion, behead some flowers, and if I do it with a Viking Age sword, this is what you can do without any effort. It's really, really easy. It doesn't take any body power. It's just your arm accelerating the sword, letting it fly, and then the sword does the job for you. And the sword cannot fly out of your hand because it has this perfect hilt design. And this is what I want you to train outside when we go out now. Let the sword move in your hand freely. Don't move your body, just stand statically and just do this arc. Accelerate the sword like this. And don't think about sword, don't think sword, think willow twig. Okay? Everybody who has a sword, hold your sword by the blade with your left, point it up. Now when you grab the sword, grab it from pommel to crossguard. Come from below, going to the top. Okay, as soon as the pommel molds into your hand, that's when you close your hand. Okay? Usually people grab their swords from the crossguard downwards. Don't do this. Grab the sword from the pommel up. It's also the most natural way of pulling a sword. You just take the pommel. The pommel is more important than the crossguard here. Okay? And feel it in your hand. Okay, we're going to go out now and think willow twig.